Hello guys and welcome to another video. My name's Mark, I'm an entrepreneur and property investor, and in today's video we're answering that age-old question. Should I go to university, become a doctor, or should I just get a minimum wage job and invest? Let's see after 10 years which one will be better off. In fact, let's go forward 20 years and see who would be better off. Minimum wage job versus doctor. Now we all know that going to university, it costs a lot of money. We know the training contracts has a lot of hours. Both individuals in this instance are going to be motivated individuals because we know you're going to be doing 60 hours a week as a doctor, you're probably going to be doing 60 hours a week at McDonald's in this instance. Now look, before we get into the video, let's go over to the laptop, let's draw the winner from our competition last Friday. So Nick, we're going to head over to the laptop and have a look at who won our Dividend subscriber giveaway. So let's go and see who won and how much they won. Come on guys. So guys, right, let's get the YouTube comments and see how many we've got. We've got 20 comments to draw from. And let's start the raffle and pick a random winner. So this time it is James Bateman. James Bateman, get in contact. I'll tag you in this video. You've won the subscriber dividend portfolio giveaway. I think it's about £30. Fantastic. Drop me a DM on Insta actually. I'll tag you in this video, but drop me a DM on Insta. We'll talk and we'll get your bank details and I'll get that all transferred over today. Guys, let's get into the video and find out exactly after 10 years who's better off. The doctor who's gone to university, trained, or the person who's worked a minimum wage job, both working equally as hard, 60 hours a week. Let's get into it. So guys, you meet me over at the laptop and the conversation we're gonna have today is, would you be better off if you were 17, 18 years old, training for a further 5 years to go and become a doctor, or should you work a minimum wage job doing exactly the same hours and invest your money instead? Now, obviously there are a spectrum of things you can do in between, but I just wanted to take two extremes. Number one, becoming a doctor, which is seen as a very safe, very good career, and number two, working a minimum wage job, which would be seen and deemed as something that you probably shouldn't do for the long term. But what we're going to do is, in this example, we're going to assume that both people are equally as determined to invest, and we're going to work on the basis that both individuals have an end goal of creating passive income that overtakes their salary. So let's start first of all, having a look at a doctor and what debts they're going to amass during their time training. So I found an article here which was really interesting from Huffington Post, but it was by a study in the British Medical Journal, which basically stated that doctors who are graduating with around £80,000 worth of student debt. It's a huge amount of debt, and the interest on that alone is going to start amassing over the years as they come to paying it out. Now, I was quite surprised to find out what junior doctors' pay is. And again, I went to the BMA, British Medical Association, in order to get the full pay circular, so I could get a full understanding of exactly what people are being paid. So a junior doctor, once they've done their 5 years degree, they're going to come out and do foundation year 1, which is £28,800. Now, I know quite a few doctors, and I know that you can bump that up by doing weekends, overtime, extra hours, all the rest. It's more likely to be about 33, 35,000 if we were looking at two people who are both working really incredibly hard. Foundation doctor year 2, 33,000, and then you go by year in order to create specialities. So in year 3, you would be on 39,000. Year 4, 39,000, and year 5, you might go on to 50,000. Now, this is sort of backed up when I did a quick Google of what an average doctor qualified in their medical profession for a long period of time gets paid in the UK, and it's around about the £50,000 to £60,000 mark. So it's a well-paid salary, there's no question of that, but ultimately it's not that well paid when you take into consideration that £80,000 worth of debt you're going to get into in order to qualify as a doctor. The other thing that was interesting about this article is that they were saying that it's unlikely that doctors who have graduated with this sort of debt will ever be able to pay that debt off, which for me is absolutely bonkers. Now conversely, if we look at somebody who's maybe living at home, got their first job at 18, and they're able to start investing nice and early. Now we know that time in the market almost always beats timing the market because we just don't know when the market's up or when the market's down. So with this in mind, the fact that we have such a young person starting their journey is a massive advantage. So let's have a look at how that looks in a couple of scenarios. Number one, we need to work out roughly what their take-home pay would be. So I did a quick look and I Googled 60 hours times £9 an hour, and I appreciate that is working incredibly hard. Maybe they got 2 jobs, but equally I know becoming a doctor is working incredibly hard. So I needed to make sure that there were some similarities. The gross income was £2,333, and then the take-home pay was £1,891 a month. So I'm going to assume that this individual can invest roughly half, about £1,000 a month, which leaves them enough money to do whatever they might need to do, pay for a car, eat, live, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, they're still going to be living on a shoestring, as the medical student would be if they were going through university. They're not living a life of luxury if they're borrowing £80,000, including tuition, for 5 years course. There's no way they're spending 40 grand a year on luxury. So we're going to be living a very similar lifestyle with these two individuals. Now, I've done it in 2 scenarios. Number one, I've done a compound interest calculator, just looking at this individual if they were to invest £1,000 a month at 10%, which is, as we know on this channel, is the average return of the S&P 500 and the FTSE 100 once dividends are reinvested. And by the time the doctor graduates in year 5, you'd have £80,000 of profit. You'd have £80,000 in your bank account. So one person, the doctor's got £80,000 worth of debt. The second person's got £80,000 in their bank account. Fast forward to year 10, when the doctor's just about getting to 50 grand a year, and you have £207,000 invested in the markets. It is a huge amount of money at 28. Fast forward to 40 and you hit the £1 million mark. So you still become a millionaire before you're 40. Assuming you're using an ISA or something clever, you could do it a bit quicker. You could minimize your tax. Ultimately, that'd be about 10 grand a month of income, tax-free if you did it that way. It would be a huge salary to be able to take from your ISA. So there's lots and lots of benefits to doing that. Now, the second thing that I thought we would do is have a look at a house calculator. And as you know, in the description, if you click on the resources tab, you can download this calculator. And we need to put some assumptions in so that we can work out how well off this individual will be. We're going to work on values of £100,000 for the house. And I need about a 20% return, which I think will be about £500 a month. Oops, £500 a month. So yeah, that's a 20% return on investment of £500 a month. So if we fast forward to year 5, just as the individual's graduating, we got £1,000 a month coming in from our properties, and we got £333,000 worth of houses. Fast forward to year 7, when the foundation years are over, or year 8, because it takes 2 years to do, we got £3,000 a month coming in, and we own nearly £800,000 worth of property. So fast forwarding to year 15, for example, we now have £14 million worth of property, just to give you an idea of how fast compounding really takes effect for the positive, with a monthly income of about £40,000 a month. So you can see that by the age of 33, 34, you could be incredibly wealthy if you took a decision that rather than going and training and becoming a doctor, spending all those years, you planted the seeds of success in your finances. And these are 2 really distinct things, right? Becoming a doctor is taking on a lot of training in order to create a skill, a high-level skill. On the other side, what we're doing is taking money and we're planting it in order to become incredibly wealthy. Now, I've taken 2 extremes here, and I don't think that this would ever be the choice for 2 individuals, either becoming a doctor or going and getting a minimum wage job for the next 15 years. I can't see that being the 2 choices. But the reality is you have to decide at some point in your life what you're going to put your focus on. And for me, creating wealth and building yourself up can work hand in hand, but you have to be aware of the importance of investing and how somebody who maybe is just working a little bit harder, doing a few more hours, can lock in a result that's absolutely spectacular. So for me, I think that if I was having those 2 choices, there would only be one choice. I would work a minimum wage job, I'd lock in by 33, investing in property, the fact that I would be a multi-millionaire, I'd have £15 million worth of property. I would know that I'd be out earning pretty much any doctor because I'd have £500,000 a year's worth of income. So that's a huge amount of income by 33. So that would be my choice if those were the only 2 choices I had. I understand that other people may want to become a doctor for other reasons, but purely for financials, I can't make any sense of it. So obviously what happens to the doctor? Well, the doctor obviously graduates and gets their £50,000 salary, and let's see what that looks like. So in year 4, they're on £50,000. So let's have a quick look at roughly what that means after 10 years of training and developing where they will be. So I'm going to use a take-home salary calculator just to work that out. So £50,000, and incidentally, that's the average salary for a GP in the UK as well. They've got a student loan, so we need to put them on a student loan, and we need to calculate that out. Their take-home pay is only going to be £3,000 a month. Now, I get it, that's a lot of money, but equally, we're going to have outstripped that just by investing in the S&P 500 by year 10. We're going to have £2,000 a month coming in capital appreciation, plus our £2,000 a month salary. We'll already be ahead. If we were doing it in property, we're miles ahead. So for me, even at the end goal, when you're getting 50, 60, 70,000 pounds earned income as a doctor, you're still miles behind the person who went and invested at a young age. So maybe you're not so young, maybe it's too late for you to make those sort of decisions, but it's not too late to plant the seed. We know that what we do today has a massive impact on how we live in 5, 10 years time. We can see that through these examples. So I would encourage everybody to plant those seeds in investments, in index funds, in property investments, in whatever asset class you believe in, so you can have a really bright future in 5, 10 years. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've really enjoyed putting it together. I'm Mark Parham. Give it a big like if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel. We give away the dividends, as you see, every single month, and eventually we're going to be giving away an investment house, because I didn't train to become a doctor. I put all my money into the markets, so I can afford to give it away to you guys. So look, give it a big like, I massively appreciate it, and I'll see you again on the next video.